What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the Collective Clips where we gets it all the way in. And if it doesn't get in, man, make it fit in. I guarantee it'll fit. You know, some people we have those type of problems, situational problems where it doesn't fit. Make it fit, man. With that being said, I wanted to get into the video of the day. It's called Growing Up Ghetto. We've watched shows like Growing Up Gotti, and you see shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and I don't know who would want to try to keep up with those bitches. It's hard to do that, right? If you ain't have deep pockets, or if you're not a Mandingo warrior. So, in other words, growing up ghetto, what does it mean? There's a lot of different people that say, I'm from the barrio, homes, I'm from the hood, I'm ghetto. It's like they wear that ghetto as a badge of honor. And I'm gonna be real, man. There ain't nothing righteous or nothing fucking cool about growing up ghetto or being ghetto. That's the struggle. That's a true struggle. I've grown up in places, man, where there were more roaches than there were Rice Krispies, right? There was more hardships every time. I couldn't even go out and play in the front yard when I was a little kid. Not because I would get taken. Motherfuckers were dropping kids off on the block and leaving, right? They were throwing people back. It wasn't one of those places where, believe me, in our neighborhood, didn't nobody want none of those badass baby kids from our neighborhood, because we grew up hard. We had a hard shell. We were hard shell tacos. Homes wasn't nothing soft about us, right? We come from, the people I associated with and people I grew up with, we had come from nothing, from having a whole lot of bit of a little bit, right? From paper food stamps, them brown dollars, coming from, places where our only thing we got for the month was maybe a fucking cheeseburger at McDonald's, and toma, there, that's what you get. I'm talking about drinking out of mangueras. For those of you that don't know, that's drinking out of the water hose. Coming from a place where, family would come over on the 1st and 15th because they knew that's when the welfare check hit, eat up all the food and bounce. I just come from a different type of ghetto. Growing up ghetto doesn't mean you necessarily have to act hard or be a gang member or live that life. But it definitely makes you tougher. There's some incentive to it. I have a homeboy. He grew up in the suburbs, right? He grew up a little bit more privileged. He had the good mom, the good dad, good jobs. And just because your mother and your father might not have good halis or not have their shit together doesn't mean they're bad parents. It just means he was a little bit more privileged. He always had the nice kicks, the nice, and in school, that gained him a lot of, he was the cool guy, because he had the nice shit. The rest of us wanted to be like Mike, but there was no end in sight. As far as we were lucky with the what were they? Pro Wings XJ 9000s. We were lucky with those. I was happy with those too. But now this is what strikes me as weird. With all the hardship I grew up with, and of course, man, I grew up out of that, and I wouldn't wish that upon my children, wish that upon no one, because man, there was a lot going on in them days back in the in the late 80s, early 90s, as far as, you had gang warfare, you had people getting kidnapped, you had fucking so much treachery and dangerous shit going on. And when you're in the hood and you're in the ghetto, the cops don't pull up. They don't show up. The cops don't care. They didn't care back then. Oh, a little black kid got kidnapped? That's how they felt. Or that's how we thought they felt. We got no recognition. It just was a whole lot of going with moms and kicking back at the welfare department all day so she can get fucking $300 in food stamps. It was a whole lot of fucking waiting by the mailbox on the 1st to the 15th. It was a whole lot of government cheese and silver cans of pork, right? But I wasn't the only one going through it. Everybody on the block was going through it. So I felt like, I didn't feel no different. I'm talking about cut off shorts. When the pants started to become high waters, moms just cut them off, and then you had all those strings hanging and shit. That's growing up ghetto. But just because you come from that mentality and you come from a place where, your situation was fucked up, doesn't mean you have to carry yourself like that. Doesn't mean you have to conform to that. And it doesn't mean you wear it as a badge of honor. You want to do better and prosper and make better moves. And at least that's what I wanted to do. In the places where I grew up, I'm talking about fucking when you rent an apartment and it smells like piss because the last person was pissing in the closet. I've been in ghetto places, and I've been from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the mountain, back and forth, because in life, man, there's ups and downs. It's a roller coaster, but I think as we get older and we start to reflect and think back, most of us that grew up truly that way, not having much, we appreciate the finer things in life and the small things that we get. You appreciate the little things. No, I see a lot of this new era and a lot of this new generation, they take a lot for granted. They take a lot of the struggle and the strife that a lot of their parents and myself and the people went through because they have it made. You know, back in the days, we didn't know what the fuck a phone was. You were lucky if your jefita had a phone in the house, and you were lucky if you ever got to use it. I didn't touch a phone till I was in my teens. And even then, fucking, that was because someone fucking let me use it in the CYA. I didn't have shit. I come from nothing, right? So anything that I've made of myself, I've done it by my own bare hands. You would say it's hard to be a positive person when all your life you've been incarcerated or all your life you've been in the gang mix. But, you know, I'm an enlightened person. I'm a believer of true understanding, someone that has recognized what it is to have not and to have. Because this world is comprised of a whole bunch of haves and have-nots. You either have it or you have not, or you don't, right? The whole mentality should be to go out there and get it, to work hard for it, so that way you appreciate what you got. You know, a lot of these youngsters take shit for granted. I need the PlayStation 5 now. Motherfucker, back in the days, you were lucky if you got to play across the street from the police station. You know, if the cops didn't snatch you up and slam you because you looked like a gang member. There was a lot going on, and they do that 5 times. There was our PlayStation 5. You played across the in the hood, across the street from the substation 5 different times. They whipped your ass. There, PlayStation 5. There it is. Decipher that. I wanted to tell you a story about a homeboy that forgot where he came from. Okay, a homeboy that grew up ghetto, just like I grew up ghetto, but got a little bit of money and started acting funny. And let me tell you how it ended for him. So I grew up on a block, man, in a neighborhood called Beechwood, right, in Merced. And this was an old ran down block. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I'll say this, man. There's worse ghettos, man, like in New York where fucking buildings are falling apart, in Fresno where there's no fucking windows. It's all fucking cardboard and plywood, right? But it was a barrio. It was a hood, right? And we definitely were on the lower end of having anything. You know, we used to steal bikes, man, back in the days, the Diamondbacks, the Mongooses, the GT Performers. And it'd be like one homeboy with a bike that was fucking pieced together by all stolen parts, and he was doing big things, right? And we'd all try to ride his bike, and we had pegs on it, and we thought we were doing big things. Anyways, in this neighborhood, man, it was very gang related. That's when I started to recognize what was going on and get involved. And there was a homeboy. He grew up even more ghettoer than me. You know, at least my mother was a hard worker and tried to provide. She did her best. You know, his mother, she did her best in bed with paisas. She did her best. She was at her best, man, when she was at the bar, right? So he came from not having no food in the house, you know, having a different tío every other weekend. You know, the type of jefita that, hey, this is your tío Eduardo, or this is your tío Lupe, or this is your tío fucking Jose, or this is your fucking tío Jerome. Hey, ¿sabes qué? Once she went black, it was Jerome, Dion, and fucking Neon Dion was in there fucking hitting that prime time. So his mom definitely was out there. She was for the streets, right? And he knew this. And we used to clown on him for it. Like, hey, is your jefa home? Knowing damn well she was at the bar getting her Los Buki on. You know, and eventually she was over there bumping Jodeci. Come and talk to me. So anyways, look, without saying too much, man, he grew up ghetto. Okay. And what had happened was, you know, when we all grew up, we all got affiliated or got associated with gangs, or some of us, you know, got a job at Taco Bell, and some people did. Everyone, their lives are different, right? Just because you grow up in the hood doesn't mean you have to be hood forever, right? So everyone led different lives. I had homeboys that turned into lawyers. So I get crooked ones, but they're lawyers, right? And this guy, he grew up around his steals. And one thing I can say about his steals is they were real hard work. No, not his steals, the one that the mom was fucking that was telling him they were steals, the real ones, right? They were hard workers. They actually worked for a construction company out in Merced or Atwater area called Rolf Construction. I remember. They were all over the place. They used to make feria, man. Them guys had money, nice trucks, fucking company trucks, all that. So he was able to get in with his familia, you know, and get a good jale. And I remember years past, man, I went to the youth authority and I was MIA. You know, I was gangbanged out and I was doing my thing. So I missed a lot of what the homeboys were doing. So when I got out at 18 years old, I wanted to catch up. Every time I'd see a homeboy I hadn't seen for years, I'd pull over, or it was so, bro, damn, what you been into? It felt good. It was like nostalgia. It took me back, right? Took me back to the good old days when all we had in the house was fucking peanut butter with just a peanut on it in a can, right? And Kick cereal, took me back to Miller's Outpost Silver Tabs. So anyways, we're posted up and I'm chopping it up with them. And this vato has a company, nice ass company, a Silverado truck. And he was doing big things, I remember. And he was, I got at another homeboy after we chopped it up, and it was all cool, it was all love. And he was like, hey, let me take you out to eat, bro. Asaderos. It was a nice little Mexican restaurant out there on the north side, right? By the college. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we went out there, ate. He's like, damn, some bad bitches around here, college chicks and shit. And whatever. He was doing well in life, and I was happy for him. I wasn't doing quite as well, but I was happy to at least be out and have my freedom. Health is wealth, and freedom is even more, right? So I was happy to be that. So anyways, I don't see him for a while, and I get at one of the homeboys, Yogi, and he tells me, hey, bro, I remember the fucking homeboy from back in the days. And I said, yeah, I ran into him a while back. He's doing good and shit. He said, yeah, that fool thinks his fucking caca doesn't smell like caca. I said, for reals? He said, yeah, he thinks he shits gold bricks, right? And I was like, he forgot where he came from. He grew up ghetto, Holmes. He was more ghetto than the rest of us. Yeah, he says, yeah, he's trying to act like fucking now because he's having a little bit of money, that we're beneath him. And I didn't get that feeling from him when I kicked it with him, man. I got the feeling like, hey, it's good to see you, bro, and I'm doing well in life. And, if you need anything, I mean, he didn't offer anything now that I think about it. But, I mean, I was willing to ask, right? So, anyways, we're kicking it. And the homeboy tells me that. And so I run into this dude at a party. And he's there with a badass chick. He had an Asian chick. Sounds good. I ain't gonna lie. China Mac, hook me up with one of your primas, right? Because them Asian chicks hit different, right? I always wondered if their shit is sideways. But that's another story for another piece of content, a bedtime story. I'll tell you about the first Asian chick, right? So anyways, I run into him at a party, and sure enough, man, the homeboys are all there drinking their fucking Bud Light, the Chiruju juice. All right, they're all drinking their juice. And this is back when everyone drank Bud Light. And this vato comes in with a bottle of Cazadores, some expensive ass drinks. And, he's trying to fucking high side. And one thing about the ghetto and the hood, the water, man, is I don't give a fuck how much feria you have, Holmes. Don't try to high side on the one. That's going to get you in a wreck. You're going to get demoed. There's going to be an example made of you, because a lot of the homeboys, man, they don't, if there's a homeboy that's balling out and he's treating everyone, that's cool. But if you're trying to throw it in people's faces like, I got it and you don't got it, I'm a half bitch and you're a half with Nizat, you're going to have a knot on your head when you leave that party, if you even leave that motherfucker, right? And sure enough, that's what happened. So this guy was high-siding, showing off, and he had this chick, and one of the homeboys was feeling his chick. And, I come from a long line of old school shit where you don't even look at a homeboy's old lady like that. She might be bad and have ass, and I said, okay, you could take a little peek, a little sneaky peeky, but as far as like outright looking, you don't do that. You kick back. But the homie was like, fuck it. He was all pisteando. He was all drunk. So he's like, fuck it, Holmes. She got ass. What for an Asian? They usually don't have one. Look at that, right? And I looked a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with the little look. You know what I mean? Had me shook. So, I guess based upon the way that this guy had acted, he'd have been acting like this for a while now. I'd been locked up, so I just got up. So I'm barely getting with the program. He had been doing this for a while. The homeboys didn't like him anymore. He still came around, still kicked it old school, but there was a lot of animosity towards him. We could call it hatred or envy. Maybe people were jealous because he was having money. And it wasn't necessarily jealousy. It was more so he forgot. He forgot about Top Ramen. You don't forget about Top Ramen and the socks with the red stripes and the green stripes. Don't never do that. Never forget where you come from, man. Just remember where you're going. So this is what happened to the vato. So the homeboy's looking at his chick. The dude notices, and he approaches everybody. He's like, hey, bro, what's up with the homie, man? He's hella drunk, bro. He's over here making passes at my old lady. And I was like, yeah, bro, I don't know. Hit him up. I was already at the point now where I was starting to see what they were saying of him acting a fool, right? So I was like, hit him up. Do what you do. Go give it his program. So he hit him up. He wasn't no punk. He thought he was one of those motherfuckers trying to high side, but that didn't mean he was a sucker, right? He was from the hood. So he got at old boy, and the homeboy domed him, right? Not domed him with the gun, but domed him with the fist, right? Boom, they started fighting. And of course, he started talking shit. You guys are just jealous of me, all you motherfuckers, man. And this is what happened to him. So, anyways, the party ends, whatever. He leaves, him and his old lady, you know. The homeboy's like, hey, hit me up, and whatever. We're laughing about it. And so the homeboys are like, fuck this dude, man. We're basically gonna kick him out of the hood because fucking he grew up worse than the rest of us, but he fucking thinks we're beneath him, and that ain't cool, right? So I agreed, man. I remember we threw a junta at the dead end park, you know, our little hood, and I was like, hey, it is what it is, bro. Fuck that dude. And so it was all point bulletin. And this is how simple it is to get taxed and get fucked up. You know, you do one little thing, one mistake, and all that history we have of being homeboys and riding fucking beach cruisers and GT performers and, you know, going to the fucking store with notes that our mom wrote to get cigarettes and penny candies and trying to steal a Snickers bar from the El Tarab market and all this fucking shit goes out the window, homie, because you acted some type of way. So now it's no. It's a no for you to be around. Well, I wasn't there, man, but eventually this fool got caught and he got fucked up real bad, man. Real bad. And all this could have been avoided, right? They didn't kill him or nothing, but they fucked him up pretty bad, man. They broke both of his arms. I remember he got scraped, man. I was hearing about it. The homies were like, damn, I felt bad doing it, but I just kept on kicking. I said, well, you know, it is like that. He said, we're from the hood. We grew up ghetto. I said, yes, indeed. We grew up stepping on roaches, so our stomps hurt, right? So that was that, you know, and so the story is crazy, but it happens. People grow up ghetto, people grow up and they forget where they come from. But not even necessarily that. Just because you're a gang member doesn't mean you have to embrace that ghetto shit. Doesn't mean you have to keep continuing that. Just never forget your history, man. Never fucking think because you made it now, forget where you come from. Because, man, there are people that are still going through the struggle and the strife and the hardships. And there's people even today right now that are watching this video that, you know, all they got, they're crushing up a top ramen as they're watching me. That's all they have in the house. I don't forget nothing about what I went through, man. I embrace it and I recognize it, man. And I don't wish it upon no one because there was times, man, when there was one blanket in the house and best believe my brother got socked over it. You know, there was you know, Nintendos and PlayStations and cell phones. Come on, bro. We were lucky. We were lucky if we didn't eat spaghetti 4 times a fucking week, you know, and and with no carne, just the noodles and tomato sauce. Yeah, real hood shit. Bologna, fried bologna. You know, if you ain't never ate a piece of fried bologna, you ain't living. Straight up. But I trip on now on all these youngsters in this different generation that they want to be ghetto. They want to act ghetto. You know, I see motherfuckers, I'm ghetto, fool. I came from, Vato, ¿sabes qué? No, you're not ghetto. You have a pinche ice cream cone tattooed under your eyelid. Stop it. You're not ghetto, Holmes. You know what I mean? Back in our day, I come from real hood shit, Holmes. I don't come from fucking Ben and Jerry's, I say. I come from thrifty ice cream, chocolate multi crunch. What you know about that? Not even paying for it. Talking about I'll get the double scoop and running out of the store with it because I didn't have the 33 cents. That's where I come from. So anyways, with that being said, man, it's just a little Joe I want to drop out there, a couple little stories. And it's all true and facts. And, you know, growing up ghetto is not a badge of honor. It's not something that we do or we say. It's something you'll never forget and hopefully you don't want to relive. Those of you that want to be ghetto and try to fucking put that out there, I guess you'd like to fucking wear underwear inside out. I don't know, man. You know, it's bad. Tide. What's Tide? Ese fabuloso. The shit you use for floors? Put that on the clothes. You'll be smelling like a fucking pine tree. Palabra. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose, get everything that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the struggle to strive and definitely the strive to struggle, man. Did I grow up ghetto? Shit. I wore Pro Wings till I fucking, till I was like 12 to 11. You know what I mean? From fucking, I didn't even know what a Nike was. A Nike swoosh? What's that? You know what I mean? And my cousin used to be like, hey, fool, let's go get some Nikes. I thought it was like food. You know what I mean? I thought Nikes was the new cereal and shit. What you know about, hey, my highlight of my whole life when I was a little kid was when the ET cereal came out and my mom bought it for me. I thought I was doing big things because the box cost $2.99. Bang, bang. Oh, shit.